Hi, I'm Kristen Oakes-White.
And I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
Well, 2019 is drawing to a close, and for many people, that's a relief.
Looking back over the past year, there were a number of setbacks in agriculture: the trade war, the spring rains, and the early season freeze.
However, one record-breaking statistic stands out. The Mississippi River, the lifeline for most of the ag products in the country, was at or above flood stage in Louisiana for the longest duration in recorded history. Across the whole of the river basin, crop and property loss is more than $12.5 billion.
At the height of the flooding, Twila's Neil Melanson went to Morgan City to see how these high river stages threaten cities and fields in South Louisiana. Despite all the water this year, it could have been much worse.
Before you get to Morgan City, you get the first sight of the amount of water around here. Highway 70 is down to one lane, thanks in part to the water that's been around all spring long. It's a low point in the highway, but in town, you can see it's also surrounded by water. Were it not for this wall, everything around here would be under. Thaddeus Escort brought his family to take a look. He says it's the highest he's seen since the Morganza spillway opened up for the first time in 1973. A barge has already been sunk in Bayou Chene ahead of the potential opening of the spillway to prevent more backwater flooding in parts east of Morgan City. The town also has gotten a couple of lucky breaks. First, the Morganza spillway opening has been delayed until at least June 9th. Second, the forecasted high has been lowered.
So now we're talking about 9 feet in Morgan City instead of 10 feet, the forecast several days ago. But keep in mind, 9 feet at Morgan City would still be the third highest level on record.
The spillway opening is a dark cloud hanging over not only the city, but the low-lying areas around it. In talking with Ricky Gonsalan, a sugarcane grower in nearby Iberia Parish, these canals have been full for months with or without the rain.
Ultimately, the drainage in this area is affected by the tide. Whatever rain event we have, the tide has to work with us to get the water off our crops. And with significant amount of high tides during significant amount of weather events, we have a problem with drainage.
From the ground, his place looks like any other cane field. From the air, though, you can see how close the brackish water is. This is the port of Iberia that connects directly to the Gulf. The threat of high water is a reality Gonsalan has already seen.
Katrina and Rita was a significant event, both of them for our agriculture community. I mean, where we're standing now, we probably had 4 foot of water to the hood of this truck consistently for the whole storm surge, and it lasted over a 3-day period.
The spillway doesn't just threaten to flood land, it's also having an effect on the state's shrimping industry. Louisiana shrimpers are having to go out further and further to find them, sometimes as much as 100 miles offshore. With the Bonacary open into Lake Pontchartrain, crabbing is down to as little as 10% of what's normal. All of these industries are holding on to a glimmer of hope that they won't have to open the Morganza, which Grimes says is a possibility.
The pushback on the opening date has been because the big crest that they're expecting just hasn't arrived. And that's why I think we could see another delay, because it's still slow to rise.
For now, the spillway remains closed, but the people who grow our food and fiber are under constant threat of it opening. As this washes down to the grocery stores, it might just start affecting us all.
Many farmers could not get into the fields at all due to the flooding. You might remember Luke Says, who farms in Larto, had more than 2,000 acres that went unplanted in 2019.
Well, water across South Louisiana wasn't the only disaster this year. In May, a tornado tore through the middle of Ruston, Louisiana, bringing disaster to this sleepy college town. Twila's Carl Wiggers was there in the aftermath, seeing both the destruction and signs of hope in the wreckage.
We had no knowledge of any tornado threat until the weather radio went off at our home. It was almost through by the time we got the weather alert. So we really didn't have but just a very few minutes to do anything, to take any action, you know.
This is what's left of Bob Reiser's chicken houses just across the Union Parish line north of Ruston.
I don't know exactly how many feet that it's destroyed, but structurally these houses are leaning, and the houses that aren't even visible on the outside, they're leaning. The force of the tornado pushed them a pretty good bit.
Reiser is fortunate that his family and workers are all safe. The poultry houses and downed trees and power lines are the extent of the damage. Workers from the state are helping clear his road, and a friend provides lunch.
I'm a state board member for Farm Bureau, but I'm also a chicken grower, and Bob's one of my best friends. We all pulled together. I couldn't do really anything to help him with the chicken houses, but we took some meals over there to help feed the people that were working on cleaning up the mess he had.
Butch Oaks is a poultry farmer from nearby Ouachita Parish. He used the network of farmers and ranchers of Farm Bureau to bring meals to those workers. In just a couple of days, Oaks gathered the money and manpower to set up shop at Louisiana Tech to feed the students, workers, and volunteers around the campus and community as they begin to pick up the pieces after the storm.
Louisiana Tech is a big part of the Ruston community, and the campus has been hit hard, devastated, so has a lot of our friends' homes and businesses, and this is something we could do to help them, to feed them lunch today, if nothing else.
Ruston has always taken care of its own. Ruston people have always have done that. Louisiana Tech has always come back and taken care of Louisiana Tech. But what you're seeing now is the other communities that just show up without even being asked, which is it's really humbling to see that and amazing to see.
We're absolutely blessed. Farm Bureau has this culture that we all come together as a team. It doesn't matter if it's the floods in Denham Springs or if it's the floods in Monroe or a tornado coming through Ruston. Louisiana Farm Bureau is always going to put boots on the ground and get us all here together. The neighboring parishes are all supportive of us, and we would do the same thing for them. So we're just extremely blessed that we have these people around us.
That's what Farm Bureau is all about. Farm Bureau is a huge family, and this family reaches everywhere, and that's what this is about. It's not the bottom line, it's what we can do to help people.
When you feel like disasters set down on top of you, it does pick your spirits up to know you have real good friends. It does. And I certainly appreciate it.
Repairs have taken months to complete in Ruston, especially at Louisiana Tech, and they're still not done. While things may be mostly back to normal, it's certainly a memory I know my dad and others in that area will have for a long time. Well, those were a couple of important but unhappy stories. What good things happened this year, Avery?
Well, I know for me, it was definitely hanging out with you and Carl and Neil and the whole Twila crew at Meal Brewery.
Oh yeah, those podcasts that we did afterwards were definitely one of the most fun ones that we've done.
The beer helps. Always helps
Yes.
to have beer. It was a fun story and a great location, but there were also some serious aspects of agriculture behind it. It's all part of this farm-to-table movement that combines fun with functionality.
The golden flows from the taps at Miel Brewery and Taproom owe a lot to the golden liquid made by these bees. Miel means honey in French and Spanish. For Alex Peru, it also means life.
100% of our beer sold right now is coming right out these taps right here in this room.
An experienced brewer from time spent working for Abita and Harpoon breweries, Peru took inspiration from his father's veterinary clinic and some of the smallest animals there.
I grew up with an observation beehive at the clinic.
I have observation windows in almost every hive body.
His father, Dale Peru, still likes to watch bees. While he sold his practice about 10 years ago, Dale is still working to save animals, rescuing bees from fallen trees and old homes set for demolition.
I'm not really into it for the honey. It's always going to be a secondary thing, but my goal was to rescue hives that are wild.
That said, Dale still gets lots of honey. Honey he gives to his son Alex to make beer.
Every bag of honey from each different parish tastes so different, and it lends its own quality. That's why when we make a beer with that honey, we say which parish it came from.
So the beer is very distinct in taste.
Rick Patel owns Mid-Tap, a self-service tap room in Baton Rouge. He enjoys coming here with his family, but looks forward to the day when he does not have to travel so far to get that distinct taste of Miel beer.
I would love to carry Alex's product.
By hearing the immediate feedback of people from when they come and enjoy our beer, it's huge.
Getting immediate feedback may take some pressure off of Alex, but what about his dad and his beekeeping hobby?
I've been doing it for like 4 or 5 years now, so I really enjoy the heck out of it. But gee, if all of a sudden I decided I don't want to do this anymore, it's a little pressure because I got to keep going now because I have to supply the honey.
If you want to try Miel beer, I highly recommend you go to the brewery in the Warehouse District in New Orleans. It's not just the taps and the scenery. There are a lot of games and the crowd's really cool. They also are online, so you can go and check out where they're expanding into the stores as time goes on. We'll have a link over on our website at twilatv.org.
Well, after the break, we hope that you're in the holiday spirit.
A brand new Field to Feast is up next. Stay with us.
I hope they're fighting today.
I hope they are.
Find your place in the country and the lender who can get you there. Find Louisiana Land Bank. Financing for country homes, recreational property, farms and ranches, and agribusiness.
Before you sweeten your morning joe, before the icing on the cake, before the sugar hits the shelf, it begins with a family of sugarcane farmers dedicated to growing Louisiana for more than 220 years. The Sugarcane Growers of Louisiana, making life sweeter, naturally.
Sugarcane, sweet sugarcane.
I'm a farmer.
I am a farm wife.
I am a cowboy.
I am a grass farmer.
I'm a businesswoman.
I'm a conservationist.
I am an advocate.
I am a voice for Louisiana farmers.
I'm always learning.
I'm a husband.
I'm a mom.
I am a dad.
I'm a granddad.
I am a consumer.
I grow the food that feeds your family, and I'm proud of it. I am Farm Bureau.
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 We are Farm Bureau.
Welcome to Field to Feast, where we profile Louisiana and its local ingredients. Today we're at Homa's house, where the Christmas decorations are up, and Chef Jeremy Langlois is going to prepare the perfect Christmas dish for our holiday table.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. Beef is what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board. Think rice.
Come on in.
How beautiful!
Yeah, it's festive in here. We're all decorated up.
Jeremy, happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. So excited to have you here over at Homa's house.
Oh my goodness, it looks so beautiful outside. I can only imagine what it looks like at night.
Oh man, this place, Homa's house, I might be a little biased, but it's one of the most beautiful properties in all of Louisiana. And then they do such a good job. I just take care of the food, so I can't take any credit for it. All the Christmas decorations and things like that they do is just beautiful. And yeah, at night it's all lit up, so it's just really great.
Well, I'm coming back at night for
the
decorations, but also for dinner.
There you go.
So what will we be having today?
Sure, well, we're going to prepare two unique holiday dishes for us. And what I wanted to do is, because I'm a Cajun Creole chef and I just love Louisiana food, that I wanted to do a Cajun dish and then a Creole dish. So Cajun, for those of you who might not know, Cajun and Creole, the difference are Cajun is kind of your low country dish. A gumbo, you throw everything in a pot and feed your whole family with it. So we're gonna start off with, we're gonna make some crawfish and rice cakes.
I love it, Louisiana crawfish and Louisiana rice.
There you go, and what makes this dish unique is basically we're making like a crab cake, but we're gonna use some low country items. What we're gonna first start off with is I got crawfish, and I got them two ways. I just got some beautiful whole crawfish tails that you get. Okay. I'm gonna put that in a bowl, but what I also did was I just took a knife and kind of coarsely chopped up some as well. Mayo.
Okay.
A little bit of green onions.
Already looks like Christmas.
And some, there you go. And then a little bit of Creole mustard.
Okay.
Some great flavor, and then some rice. Crawfish cakes with rice. That's where they would use this low country items that were just readily available to stretch out their meals to feed their families.
So you're still getting all the flavor of the crawfish and the green onions.
Yeah, and the rice just adds just uniqueness to it that I just really like. What we want to do is add just enough breadcrumbs just to bind it. And I like to use a mixture of two different breadcrumbs. I'm using some Italian breadcrumbs, which are fine ground with a little seasoning, and some panko breadcrumbs or Japanese breadcrumbs, which are a little coarse. And the reason that you get benefits from both. Yeah, if you just want to mix it up, a little salt and pepper goes in for seasoning.
Well, this is not hard.
No, you can do it.
I
didn't want to say even.
Even you could do this, Jeff.
And then look, once we got that, but what I really like about this recipe, like I said, this is like a crab cake. Instead of sometimes there's no raw ingredients in here. So there's nothing raw in here. The crawfish are cooked, the vegetables are cooked. I'm just dusting them on a little breadcrumbs and starting to saute a couple of patties. So it just makes it really easy. You can make this mixture ahead of time. Last second, just brown them up, fry them up, and get some good color on each side. And we are working with something.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Got some good golden brown on them.
Beautiful.
And while that's sauteing, we're gonna just throw together the quickest down and dirty remoulade sauce. This is just a really simple version. Mayo, Creole mustard, a little bit of fresh parsley, little tablespoon of horseradish just to give it a little spice. You want to juice me a lemon up in there?
I do.
So get that up in there. So lemon, mayo, mustard, the horseradish, a little salt and pepper. Mix that up real quick, and that's it. I mean, look how fast we made that.
It's unbelievable, and this looks so much like Christmas.
A little smear of this good, quick remoulade sauce on. And nothing raw here, so we're just looking to get good color. Heat them all the way through.
Well, it's a good thing I came really hungry, so.
And we got us some crawfish and rice cakes.
Oh my goodness, how beautiful. This is very Christmassy.
Now talk about field to feast, farm to table. We got the farm right here on the table.
What
just
are those?
Some little daikon radishes and some little basil, and now we're working with something. Let's see what we
Cheers,
got.
Merry Christmas.
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Crawfish rice. Is this your first crawfish rice cake?
It is my first crawfish rice cake. My mouth is exploding with flavor.
And
oh
all
my
s-
goodness,
all
this
simple.
Is so good. When we come back, what do we have going on?
We're gonna go. Now we went low country. Now we're gonna go Creole. Still sticking with great Louisiana seafood. So sautéed red snapper with a pumpkin beurre blanc.
Well, that sounds delicious. Y'all stay with us, and in the meantime, I'm gonna have a little bit more. Ho, 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 ho.
That's low, that's low. That's low and below. Look, he's blushing. Seriously.
Landowners are minding the Louisiana forest for our grandchildren. A place for wildlife, recreation, lumber for homes. It's the right thing to do. Forestry, covering half our state, all of our hearts.
Louisiana oysters, salty, sweet, and delicious. But have you ever thought about what happens to all those oyster shells? Most of them end up in trash cans and landfills. The Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana is changing this with its oyster shell recycling program, and you can help by visiting these participating restaurants. It's a simple and delicious way to restore our coast. The shells will then be used to sustain and rebuild oyster reefs. Remember, once you shuck them, don't just chuck them.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
So we are back in the kitchen at Homa's house with Chef Jeremy Langlois making our Christmas dishes in this beautiful Christmas environment. And what do we have going on now?
I wanted to do something that wasn't traditional and maybe put a new twist on it. And I just love fresh fish.
And you chose red snapper to match my sweater.
There you go. Christmas is a red color. If I was smart, I would have thought about green sauce, and that would have been, we would have had something. So what we're going to make is we're going to make a pumpkin beurre blanc.
Oh,
and,
that sounds delicious.
You know how during this holidays you have the pumpkin spice everything? Instead of it being just a pumpkin spice, I want to get the pumpkin in there. So first thing we're going to do before we get into the sauce, I wanted to talk about
some wine.
Always. Why do you think the bottle's half empty already. One thing we're gonna do is talk about the fish. Now we're gonna leave the skin on the fish. I just really love whenever you get a real crispy, leaving scale off, but getting a good crispy sear on this fish, and it really makes this really great flavorful crust. If you've always been a little wary about eating the skin on the fish, you don't have to be. It's packed with flavor, it's packed with nutrients. It really brings out a great flavor and texture element to the fish.
When I was growing up, we used to eat the fish tails.
Oh yeah, just the very end.
Yes,
yeah, I love that.
That was delicious.
And so what I did here is I just gave it some scores, and what that's going to do is just help the skin tends to curl while it's cooking. So that's going to stop it from curling up as much, and it allows the fish to cook really quick in this pan. Over here I got just a smoking hot pan. We're going to just start searing that. Really looking to get a real crispy, hard sear, as I like to say. Because we scored it, it's going to start to cook. You can even see the sides.
Well, right, when you did that, it almost like inflated.
Yeah, that's right, and that's the skin starting to curl when it hits that hot oil, and that's why we scored it. But if you don't have that pan super hot, the skin will stick to the bottom of the pan.
Okay.
Teflon helps with that. Cast iron helps with that, but having a pan, you can use any pan, just a pan real hot will help get that good sear. So what I'm going to do, take a little spatula, got that good crispy sear on it, and then I'm going to flip it over, and then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to transfer it just over here in the back for a second so we can move right into making just a quick little pumpkin beurre blanc. Now beurre blanc, French, white butter.
Fat-free. It also means fat-free.
Oh well, I hope you're closing your eyes. Look, I'm gonna tell you when to close your eyes, because this is one of those everything's in moderation kind of dish.
I got it. Well, it is the holidays.
It's the holidays, and I like to say everything in moderation, including moderation. So
I love it.
So I just threw a little bit of shallots in here, and heavy cream. And what the heavy cream's gonna do is it's actually gonna help hold this sauce together, because we are gonna add some butter to it. And having that cream in there helps emulsify the butter and helps get it in there. Yeah. White wine, we're making a butter sauce. And so what I have here, let's talk about this. This is just, you get roast pumpkin and puree it, but canned pumpkin is great. Now what you don't want to get though is pumpkin pie filling out of the store, because that's going to have some different eggs in it, and it's probably going to have a lot of, this is just plain pumpkin, there's no spices, so now we can control how we season it. So I just whisked in a little bit of this pumpkin, and what that's going to do, give it a beautiful color, and it's going to start to thicken up the sauce. We already added our white wine. Fish, you always want to add some kind of acidity with seafood, so that's a little lemon juice that goes right in. And then now we're ready.
Is it time to close my eyes?
Yeah, you close your eyes, because what we're going to do, but this is the actual trick though. So we're going to put a couple large chunks of butter in. Now understand, this is going to be enough sauce for a bunch of people, but we're going to add a bunch of butter in it. And what I did was important. What I did is I just turned the fire, so the heat is off. And what I'm going to do is just add a couple of pats in here. And you add the butter last, and you see I'm just lightly swirling it in. If I were to leave it on the heat, it might break the sauce, which means the butter would melt too much and separate. Now look, now that's it. We got a beautiful butter sauce, a little bit of fresh chopped parsley at the end.
Christmas.
And let's come back to our fish.
Oh my gosh, I can't get over how good that smells.
Now look how nice that looks with the, now look, that fish is cooked all the way now, so yeah, we're gonna go right on the plate.
Oh my word.
I just kind of put it around because I don't want that crispy skin to get soggy, so I'm gonna put a little bit of that sauce around. And this would be such a unique holiday item that we could serve at the dinner table that I just think people would just love and go nuts over.
Did you just come up with this for us?
Well, no, this is something that, well, I always love
just
doing
say
a
yes.
fish. Yes. But this is one of my go-to holiday sauces. From October, just a great fall sauce. Once we get to October through December, I just love making that pumpkin butter sauce.
Friend,
there we go.
It is time. Oh my gosh. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. This is fantastic. Oh, well, Chef, thank you so much for having us today.
Always a pleasure. Look, you're welcome at Homa's house anytime. Just let me know when you want to come.
Careful with that. But I do want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas.
Likewise.
And thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Well, this has been so much fun here at Homa's house, celebrating Christmas and making these festive dishes. So we wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next time on Field to Feast.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley was brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
Well, that does it for this edition of Twila and for another Twila broadcast year.
Over the next few weeks, we're going to bring you encore presentations of some of our favorite shows. The reason, so we can spend the holidays with our families. And while we're enjoying a little time with our families, please remember the farmers and ranchers who never get a day off, regardless of the season.
2019 was a challenging year for Louisiana agriculture, to say the least. But like always, our farmers and ranchers persevered through tough times with resiliency and a willingness to pick it up and do it all again next year. From the cattlemen in Caddo Parish to the cane farmers of Assumption and every Louisiana farmer in between. Thank you for all of the hard work that you do day in and day out. And to all of our loyal viewers who stick with us week in and week out, we also want to say thank you. We hope we've informed you and entertained you, but more importantly, we hope you gained a greater appreciation for the men and women who put food on our table.
So this year, we're leaving you with a few laughs at our expense. We hope you enjoy a few of our favorite bloopers from the past year. For all of us here at Twila, Kristen, Carl, Monica, and Neil, happy holidays. We hope you have a joyous new year.
Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome back to Blooming. That's stupid. 3, 2.
That was dumb. That was real dumb.
What'd I do? What'd I do?
Avery, I'm here in Opelousas, Louisiana, in what looks to be a fairly loud farmer's market.
Toll discussed various solutions to help the agriculture industry bridge the gap between producers and consumers.
I'll try to give an update over the next few weeks as to how my stuff is coming. And
if y'all want any of the safety tips or advice that we talked about for kids, oh, we lost one. Bye, John Charles.
Wow, well, the smell has gotten a lot stronger, and one just stung me.
It's dumb.
Why must you live out the songs that you wrote?
This is a long day.
All right, you want one of these taters thrown at you?
No, ma'am.
You better run then.
I'm good. It'll swell up. That's fine. Oh, one just stung me on the back. Yeah, this is not the Uber car I called for. These passengers are pretty crazy. Let's go.
Great, just great, man. I'm almost done. Almost done.
Fine. Are we done? Fine.